This is the Shore Sports Network. WOBM Lakewood Township, WADB Asbury Park. Listen online at WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
And a very good Thursday evening, the 12th of November. It is high school football talk time. The Thursday night high school football show here, broadcasting live from the Water Street Grill in downtown Toms River. Kevin Williams and Ed Sarluca, as he has been on more than one occasion this fall. Our colleague Matt Harmon on special assignment tonight will join us tomorrow night in the booth for our Jersey Mike's game of the week, which will be Jackson Memorial at Brick Township. Tonight we get set and help you preview the upcoming playoffs. That will be the theme of tonight's show. In-house, or we should say, I guess we should say in-restaurant, will be Ocean Township head coach Don Klein and his terrific junior quarterback Kenny Pickett. A little later in the hour, we talk Matawan Husky football with Coach John Kay and his senior fullback linebacker Isaiah Phillip. And we'll also chat tonight with Jackson Liberty coach Jim Sharples as his Lions have fought their way into the state playoffs this weekend. A quick conversation, quicker than usual, with Bob Batters, who's actually covering a game tonight. We'll talk about that later, and we'll, of course, wrap up our time with you by talking Monmouth University football with head coach Kevin Callahan as the Hawks get ready for their home finale on Saturday against Presbyterian. 27 of the 43 Shore Conference schools that play football are in the state playoffs, and will be playing either Friday night or sometime on Saturday. The other 16, for the most part, relegated to what they're now calling crossover games, which is a nice way of saying consolation games. Some of those being played tonight. Our own Bob Batters is at Wall, where the Crimson Knights are playing Somerville. And there's about 5 or 6 games tonight, and there'll be some more over the weekend, as well as some of those teams actually finish up their season, like Toms of East, who's hosting Marlborough tonight, and what is the finale for those clubs. So the theme, though, is the 27 that have made the state playoffs. That number will be reduced significantly over the weekend, in some cases because Shore Conference teams are playing one another. And the fact of the matter is there'll be a handful of teams that will be decided underdogs. But Ed, in a very brief opener as we kind of wrap up last weekend, and I look at what took place last weekend, I've got check marks next to 4 games which I thought were extremely significant. Red Bank Catholic over Jackson Memorial in what they'll call the Bounce Back Bowl, in which the Caseys did with a 21-10 victory. Shore beating Asbury Park 20-7 to lock up the Class B Central Championship again. Point Borough, in dramatic fashion, a game we broadcast on Saturday afternoon, scoring in the final minute to beat Lakewood 14-13, earn a piece of the Class B South Championship. Middletown South rolling over Freehold 38-7 to lock up at least a share of the A North title. And we'll give a little bit of not an asterisk, but partial credit to both Brick and Brick Memorial for winning their division finales and earning a share of the Tri-Championship in Class A South with Toms River North.
Yeah, I would agree that those were the key games going in. Our matchups this weekend in the state playoffs, there are 5 head-to-head contests between all Shore teams, so we'll at least have 5 advance, and I have a feeling that we'll have quite a few more advance, as I don't see a lot of great games in the first round. But boy, are we going to have a lot to talk about next week as we approach the semifinals, and we don't want to jump ahead too much, but the semifinal round of the state playoffs this year has the potential to be some blockbuster football games. And
those games will still be on home sites before teams get to the first weekend of December, when they play for state sectional championships at neutral sites throughout the course of the state. I think we'll save the Central Jersey Group 3 chatter for when we're joined by our friends from Ocean, because they're very much in that, which it's not the least bit inconceivable you could have 4 Shore Conference teams advance to the semifinals, which would be just amazing. But as you scan the sections, And there are so many of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 that involve at least one Shore Conference team. Besides that one, what has kind of caught your fancy that you'll really keep a close eye on?
Well, I like the North Jersey Group 4, where Middletown South is the top seed, because the team that's up and coming now with a 6-2 record, won a huge game last week, got perhaps their best player back in Chad Freshnock, Middletown North. It's a team that is peaking at the right time of the year. Coach Bush has got them playing very well. It's conceivable that if both teams win, and North has a very tough football game in Sayreville this week, however, they will have them at home, as they are the 4, Sayreville's the 5. Middletown South should not have any problems getting by their first round game, but that's a potential matchup in the semis of North and South, and again, they'll go back-to-back because they will play Thanksgiving for the A North title. So that's intriguing to me.
Which is horrific. I hate the back-to-backs. It's just it's horrible. But you're right. That could be there. Central Jersey Group 4 is kind of interesting, and that's where we'll be tomorrow night when we head to Brick. Is Brick, the number 2 seed, hosts number 7 Jackson Memorial. Amazingly, 4th meeting between these teams over the last 2 years. And will it follow the same script as last year? Brick won in the regular season, lost in the playoffs, and then Jackson went on to win a sectional title. This year, Brick won in the regular season in the Mud Bowl, and now Jackson seeks to avenge that loss tomorrow night. You also have Brick Memorial, the top seed, hosting number 8 Jackson Liberty. We'll talk with Jim Sharples later. We'll concentrate on that. And then in a kind of interesting game, too, I think, number 4 Freehold Borough hosts number 5 Allentown. And while Allentown's not a Shore Conference team, it's one that a lot of Shore folks are familiar with.
Yes, Jay Graber is the head coach at Allentown, and supposedly a very good football team. I will go to that game. I will attend that game on Saturday afternoon as we work tomorrow night to see who does face the winner of the Jackson Liberty and Brick Memorial game. But you are correct, Kevin. On paper, I think the 4 top seeds there, or I should say, the 4 top seeds, because Freehold is 4, have the capability of advancing to the semis, and then we'll have 2. Although no, I'm sorry, Brick. Who does Brick get? Let me see now.
Brick plays Jackson Liberty.
Right, I know. Brick will play. I'm drawing a blank now. Who's the other?
It's Central 4.
Yeah, who's the other?
I don't have the brackets.
Yeah, I don't have the bracket either, but I think Brick will play a non-Shore team, and Brick Memorial will play Freehold.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So we start with 27. There are some, including our own Bob Batters, who's predicting quite a bit of success. If you go on shoresportsnetwork.com, Bob has got a complete preview of all the sections involving Shore teams. It's also in our latest issue of the Shore Sports Network Journal, which, as they say, is out on the newsstands now, available at any Jersey Mike's in Monmouth and Ocean County, all the Super Wawas in Monmouth and Ocean County, and also the Surf Tacos. But Bob also has that online as well, and he thinks the Shore will have a very, very good year. Predicting many state champions, including maybe one that really kind of shocked me, and that is Toms River North in South Jersey Group 5.
Yeah, I think they're the favorite down there. I do. I really think they are the best team. I've said it all along that I thought they were one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Shore. They have won 6 in a row. They are riding high. They get a break because Cherokee and Williamstown, 2 top-notch programs down there, are 2 and 3, so they do not have to play both of them. They only may get one, and that would be in the finals. Once you make it to the finals, anything goes then. And, the top seed there is Lenape, that North has had extreme amount of success with, both in regular season games. Last year, as a 1-8, North being 8, they upset the 1 seed, last year, and that was Lenape. So they've had success against them. They scrimmaged them and were very successful. So it's conceivable.
Well, we're bouncing around a bit because when you have 27 teams in 11 different sections, you got to have no choice. But what we're going to do now is take a timeout, and we come back. We'll talk Ocean Big Red football. We'll focus in tonight on that Central Jersey Group 3 bracket, which could end up with a 4-Shore Final Four. You're listening to the Thursday Night Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.
Water Street Bar and Grill in downtown Toms River is the ultimate sports bar. With 32 HD TVs, Water Street brings you all the action of every football game. Located right on the water, Water Street is the perfect place to enjoy the finest views of the shore. Whether you want to grab a few drinks with friends, catch your favorite game, eat a delicious meal, or enjoy live entertainment every Friday and Saturday nights, Water Street is the place for a good time. Located across from Huddy Park on Robbins Parkway in downtown Toms River. Visit them at bakerswaterstreet.com.
This is Marianne Levy, News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Broadcast from the Preferred Home Healthcare Studio. Since 1987, Preferred has offered the highest degree of care. Preferred Home Healthcare with feeling.
Increasing winds overnight. We'll see just a few passing clouds, a low dropping down to the upper 40s. West-southwest winds 15-25 miles an hour, gusting up to 40 miles an hour, and a blustery Friday, too. Partly sunny, a high in the mid-50s. West winds 20-30 miles an hour, gusting up to 40 miles an hour. Saturday, partly sunny, breezy, and cold, highs around 50. Sunshine on Sunday, a little better, highs up around 60. I'm meteorologist Mark Thibodeau from the Weather Channel.
1160 and 1310 WOBM.
For the latest high school football news, visit shoresportsnetwork.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310, and WOBMAM.com.
Welcome back to Baker's Water Street Grill here in downtown Toms River, the Thursday Night High School Football Show. Kevin Williams along with Ed Sarluka. Matt Harmon on special assignment will join us tomorrow night when we broadcast the Jersey Mike's Game of the Week as the Brick Green Dragons host the Jackson Jaguars. But clearly a section in the state playoffs that has garnered tremendous interest around the Shore Conference, and that is in Central Jersey Group 3, where 4 Shore Conference teams make up the field of 8, and there are many who believe those 4 will make up the Final Four after Week 1. One of those teams is Ocean. The Spartans are the number 2 seed. They've won 5 straight games. They're 7-1 coming in. They will host Hamilton West, the 7th seed, tomorrow night. We're delighted to be joined by their head coach, Don Klein, along with their outstanding junior quarterback in Kenny Pickett. Guys, thanks so much for heading down the Parkway a little bit and joining us. And, Coach, you know, my first comment to Ed was, I can't believe it's your 9th season. It seems like yesterday you were one of those rookies. You're now an old-timer.
I know, and it's, believe me, I feel like an old-timer. But,
feels like 18, huh?
Yeah, that's right. I was, obviously very fortunate to get the head coaching job at Ocean Township at a young age, and, it flies by. Being a head football coach, 12-month commitment now, and, you blink your eyes, it's 9 years.
2 years ago you had the great season, 10-1, made a nice run in the state tournament. Last year, a little disappointing, injuries, the whole thing, and you've really bounced back this year. You lost to Red Bank in Week 3, 16-60, and it's been 5 straight wins since then. Do you feel heading into this time of year you're kind of peaking, playing your best football of the season?
Yeah, I think that's obviously a huge thing is peaking at the right time, and I think we have a very confident bunch right now. I like the way that that we're playing in all 3 facets heading into the playoffs. So. I feel like we have a real good rhythm right now. We're in a rhythm. Our confidence is good. Our practices have been good. So, we're a confident bunch heading into this thing.
Kenny, last year, going into your sophomore year, you were not expected to be the quarterback. Maybe until Royal Moore transfers to Neptune, you were given the job, or you won the job, I should say, and you have taken this quarterback job and run with it, and have led. And they always say the quarterback is the leader, and I believe in your case, and Coach Klein could back me up on this, is, you are one of the big leaders on this team, even though you are only a junior. But you've done nothing but continue to improve both your sophomore and junior year. Tell us about the stepping up to be the starter last year and then this year.
Definitely. When Royal left, I knew I had to be the leader of the team, and I had to take the leadership role, and I had to lead the guys out on Friday night to get wins. And I had a lot of help. I have great teammates. I have a great line. So I can't do everything. I have them by my side, so that's all I need.
Coach, tell us a little bit about the guy sitting next to you over there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kenny growing up, Kenny was an outstanding player since, he's 7, 8 years old. And as a coaching staff in town, we knew who Kenny was growing up, and we knew he was outstanding. And the big thing for Kenny was just maturing physically. I mean, from a skill set, he's always had tremendous skills. He's always had tremendous moxie. I remember I had Kenny at my youth camp when he was young, and he's in the huddle, and, a bunch of kids are yelling for football, and Kenny told him, listen, there's one football, and I'm going to throw it to the guy that gives us the best chance to make a play. And I think he was probably 10 or 11 years old, when he said that. So, coming into it, we knew what we had with him. The physical maturation process has happened for him. He's 6'2", he's 185 pounds now, and, he can hurt you with his arm and his legs. And, his leadership is tremendous. His work ethic's tremendous. So, we're very, very fortunate to have him.
Well, I'm going to look at your schedule a little bit, and I mentioned you lost to Red Bank in Week 3, and I'll ask you, and of course you could see them again, were you surprised at what you saw that night, Coach, and this Red Bank team that to us in the media has been maybe the surprise of the season, or did you know they were a good football team and you were just further convinced the night you played them?
Yeah, I think it's more of the latter, to be honest with you. I mean, coming into it, we knew that Red Bank was going to have a good football team, and sometimes you have the programs that are down a little bit, and then all of a sudden they play for that one, that year. And for Red Bank, this is kind of that. I mean, they played a ton of these kids as sophomores and took their lumps, and then last year a little bit, and they have some primetime players. The Sadiq Palmer kid and the Godsey running backs is a good player, and Nowitzki does a good job of managing what they do. So, we knew coming into it that Red Bank was going to have a really good team this year. They have good balance in that they have strong skill kids, and they're pretty good up front. So, we had anticipated them being very competitive.
Kenny, the win that stands out to me, obviously, a couple weeks ago was the RBC game. And you seem to have taken that team on your shoulders in the last few minutes of that game. Tell us about that ending.
I knew it was going to be the last drive of the game for us, and I needed to step up. The morale was down a little bit. The game started to shift into their favor a little bit. So I looked at Ruquan, and I told him, it's our time to make a play, and we did. So that's really what changed the outcome of that game.
Tell us about the when you turn around in the huddle, or when you come to the line of scrimmage, you turn around and you see Tyler Thompson, one of the top backs, not only in the Shore but in the state.
Gives you a lot of confidence. Yeah, you got a guy next to you, that can do better than you or just the same as you. So it's not all on your shoulders. We're both going to get through it. Whatever we need to do, either run it, I can throw it to him, I can run it. So we got a lot of versatility in our backfield, which is good.
Coach, how is Tyler? Coming back, I believe it was week 7, right? The RBC game, he broke his leg. You had to have a little trepidation going into the season or maybe the summer about the availability of Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was not a good injury. And as a head coach, when you have a talent like Tyler, you want to make sure that kids that are in your program reach their potential. And for him to suffer that injury was unfortunate, but he was back and healthy. He was basically a full participant in our off-season stuff. You never know until the pads go on and you have to take hits and you're forced to make the cuts and all those things. But there is no doubt, watching film and for anybody and watching Tyler every day in practice and games, this kid is bigger, faster, stronger than he's ever been. This is the best version of Tyler Thompson that everybody's seen. And overall, as a high school football player, he's the best I've ever seen. So.
Really? That's lavish praise because you've been around a little bit.
I've been around a little bit. He's 13 years coaching, 12 at Ocean, 3 as an assistant, now 9 as a head coach. But, as an overall player, everybody wants to talk to, about what he does at running back, and he is fantastic. The press did their career running back thing the other day, and when you look at some of the numbers and the names that are there, and then I have Tyler's career numbers and stuff, I'm telling you, he's in the top 3, top 4 of all time. And, now you factor in what he does for us on defense and the way he can catch the ball. Kenny will tell you his pass protection. I mean, he's a killer. So just an overall player for a kid that can run the ball and catch the ball and block and play defense the way he does, he's the best I've ever seen.
What stands out when I look at you offensively, it's not unusual teams have a strict identity. We're a running team, and you have a couple teams that might identify as throwing teams. You really, truly have great balance. I mean, you mentioned Tyler, obviously. Kenny's thrown for over 1,100 yards. If I read the numbers right, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception, which is ridiculously gaudy. I mean, Kenny, that's great balance.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I really focus on protecting the football in the game. I don't want to turn it over because that causes a lot of trouble for teams. So moving the chains is a big thing for me on 3rd down, 4th down, just keeping drives alive.
Yeah, I noticed last week in your shutout of Colts Neck, I think you were 13 of 18 for just under 100 yards, but 3 touchdowns. I mean, from a coaching standpoint, I mean, really productive numbers.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Joey did a great job that game. Joey really had a big game for us. Yeah, he got open a lot in the end zone. Grayson Sudoff had a big catch for us in the opening drive. That got us rolling. So they're doing a great job as well.
Coach, I want to talk defense a little bit, okay? I love to talk defense. Your linebackers, Saldudi, Rant, and Rossback, still there?
Right. Yep, still there.
I love the preseason comment. I believe it was Saldudi when he said, I'm the hitter, Rossback is the smart one, and Rant has got the speed.
Right.
Together, we're dynamite.
Yeah. Well, they are, and they complement each other well with their skill set. Now, the thing about TJ and that comment is, all 3 of them are very bright.
Right.
All 3 of them will hit you in the mouth, and all 3 of them run pretty well. So, even though they are, they may have a similar skill set or a unique skill set, and that one does something better than the other. Overall, the 3 of them do all 3 things well.
Kenny, TJ had to take a little heat for that comment, didn't he?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
There's not much in our locker room that doesn't people don't
pass
take heat
by,
for,
right?
I'll tell you that much right now with this group.
We're talking with Ocean head coach Don Klein and his junior quarterback Kenny Pickett. The Big Red getting ready to host Hamilton West tomorrow night on the opening round of the Central Jersey Group 3 playoffs. So let's get to the playoffs because this is the time we're at. You guys start watching this stuff as the season progresses. I find it amazing that 4 shore teams are in the bracket but not playing each other. It's just incredible. What can you tell us about Hamilton West? Is there any shore team that you would compare them to? What would be your scouting report on them?
For me?
Yeah.
I think, athletic, they have some athletes, okay? So, they remind you a little bit of Neptune to a certain extent in that they have, 4 or 5 really special athletes, and then defensively they're gonna do a lot of things to bring pressure and different blitzes and keep you guessing. So, we went and watched them. My staff and I have an outstanding coaching staff. I'm very blessed to have those guys. We went out and watched those guys play at Heightstown last week. We have all their films. We've been obviously studying it, and they can hurt you with some of the athletes they have. They have some really kids that are versatile, kids that run real well, and then defensively they want to bring a lot of pressure from different angles. So, I think there's probably a little bit of a Neptune comparison there.
Coach, I want to talk a little bit about your coaching staff because how many ex-head coaches you got on?
I try to load up as many as I can.
Got 4, right?
Well, Fred Stengel, obviously, at Bergen Catholic, had a tremendous career. Brian Kamak was a head coach at Keensburg for a long period of time, had a lot of success. Mike Lambusta, comes out and helps us out, and he was the head coach at Ocean after George Conti. Jim Simonelli was a longtime defensive coordinator at Long Branch. And then Mark Tomo, who's my defensive coordinator now, who will be a head coach in the not-too-distant future. So, those are guys that we have on staff, as well as Pat O'Neill, who does an excellent job. I actually played with him and grew up with Pat in high school, helps out with the quarterbacks, the offense, the defensive backs as well. Mike Salem, helps out with the wide receivers and defensive line. Got Sip Apicelli running around out there also. So,
tell me about the relationship with Fred Stengel. How did you get him on the staff?
Well, Fred was doing some work for MSG Varsity, I think, and they came down to cover one of our games. We played Neptune, and when he came before the game, I guess, to practice. He probably went and checked out the teams to see what they kind of did, and we spoke for a while about football, and we had a lot of common ideas about things, and ultimately, his name was attached to a couple local jobs, and when I decided that we would go, in a little bit of a different direction offensively, I reached out to him and I said, "Listen, we had spoken once, at a practice, and this is what my offer is. Do you have any interest in maybe pursuing it?" And then Fred came down. We spoke for about 5 or 6 hours on a Saturday afternoon at the high school, and then he came on board the next day. So, it's good to have Coach Stengel there.
Sure,
no question. Getting that kind of experience can't hurt you one bit. All right, so the playoffs really it's a 3-game tournament. Well, hopefully it's a 3-game tournament, right? But it's the old, you got to take them one at a time, and I wouldn't expect you to tell me anything else. So I'll ask Kenny because Coach is not listening right now. Okay, so I want you to pretend that. But obviously, if you are successful in Week 1. a possibility of a game with Matawan the following week. By the way, they're in the house, those guys, so you can introduce yourselves. Not inconceivable that you could get, a chance to take on a team like Rumson along the way. So there's a lot of intrigue here. But you're going to tell me you're only thinking about tomorrow night, right?
Definitely tomorrow night. We had a lot of preparation going in this week. We practiced great. I've been watching a lot of film, seeing what they've been doing, so we will be ready to go tomorrow night.
How do you, as the quarterback, make sure you keep that team focused on we're only worried about one game?
It all starts at practice, so having guys, focused on the task at hand this Friday night, making sure everyone's watching their film, focus in practice throughout practice, not slacking off during a certain drill or during a certain session. So it really all starts during the week.
Well, should I correct my
I know
my leader?
It's Red Bank.
It's
I know.
Red
Yeah,
Bank,
I know.
That's all right.
I do a lot of work.
You're hoping you don't have to see
Listen,
George Pearson and Matawan,
I'll
right?
tell you
Or
what,
if you do, you'll see him in the finals.
Yeah,
Right. I'd much rather see those guys in the finals. Yeah.
Kenny, the Big Red tradition started, I believe, by Coach George Conti, okay, back in the day. And it involves everybody. It involves the school. It involves the field. It involves the neighborhood. Tell us about what that means, Big Red.
It's just like a family atmosphere, the town really gets behind us and supports us. This Friday night, it's going to be an atmosphere I don't think I'll ever played in before. It's my first start in a home playoff game. So, I'm really excited to see what the crowd has for us. And, a lot of my family members will be there. A lot of my friends growing up, their parents will be there. So it'll be a good night.
And, of course, your dad, a former player for the Big Red.
Yep, definitely, yeah. He's excited. He helps me out all week, watches film with me, makes sure I'm doing well in practice and all that. So he's ready to go, too.
Well, you make sure you say hello from me, because I was on Coach Conti's staff when he was at Ocean and had a chance to be around him.
Okay.
A good football player.
Yeah, I will.
No matter what he tells you.
I'll tell him
he was
hi.
good.
Donnie, obviously been a very enjoyable season. No doubt about it. It's a heck of a lot more fun to win than lose. Tell me how the school, the whole community has kind of gravitated to the success of Ocean, which clearly is a school that's a big part of the community.
Yeah, we talk about it often. It's just it's not only within the school; it's also the community. It's the youth. I mean, Ocean Township's a special place. Our football program, I think, is a big part of that. And again, it started with Coach Conti. I've been fortunate enough to have it continue, but there's been a buzz. There's such a positive buzz about our program because not only do we do a good job of winning football games, but we have really good kids involved in our program, and ultimately, I think that's the most important thing. So. It's special for the school, the community, our crowd, and then to be able to go get a coffee in the morning and for people to take notice of, hey, great job last week. And I'm sure it happens to Kenny and to all our players. It's just a really special feeling. So it's a great place to coach, and when you're winning football games, there's no other place like it.
I'm going to have to ask you both this question because it's kind of one of my pet peeves. Regardless of where you are in the playoffs, you have a regular season game left. Thanksgiving Day. With Monmouth Regional, obviously a rivalry game. How do you feel about that? I mean, if Coach, I'll ask you first, if it was your preference, would you have rather have played your regular season games and now you're just going state tournament? Is that an interruption?
I think it is, to be honest with you. I mean, I understand the Thanksgiving Day rivalry game, so to speak, and I also understand an opportunity for people, alumni, right, from the high school to come back. Everybody's home. Everybody gets a chance to come to the high school football game and watch their team, whether they played for us, they didn't play for us, to go back. And it's kind of a social congregating place for everybody to come back and see each other. But, as the game continues to evolve and things happen, I just think there's less and less of a place for the game. It's something that's unfortunate because I understand that part of it being a positive with people getting to see each other.
Right.
But ultimately, I just think that right now the focus for everybody should be on the playoffs, and then ultimately, that would be it.
Well, Kevin and I are both on record as saying that we hate the Thanksgiving Day
I'm trying to be
games.
as political as I can.
Do you, as a player, do you like it? I mean, obviously there'll be some people there that maybe don't come out during the season because, as Coach said, they're home. But how do you think it fits?
I agree with Coach Klein. Like he said, it's nice to see a lot of the alumni come back. Watch the game, talk to some of the old players. You know, we get like a pregame speech from an old player or something,
Right.
and that's real nice. But it does kind of get in the way
Sure.
of your focus on winning the state championship or making a playoff run.
Yeah. Only in New Jersey
Yep.
could you
Yeah.
play 2 playoff games, then a regular season game, and maybe a championship
Right.
game. I mean, where else in America?
And as a coach, it puts you in a kind of a tough spot.
Sure, it
I mean,
does.
You know, it really does. So
Hey, listen, you want to get to the point where that becomes an interruption
Yes.
because of your prep for the final week. And
Right.
obviously, but there will be teams, no matter what, will have that issue. They will have to play a Thanksgiving Day game, try and get their kids focused on that, stay healthy, and then come back 9 days later maybe and play for a state championship,
Right.
which is the ultimate goal. So-
And it's also a pretty tough game this year because
Yeah.
Monmouth is having probably their best season they've had in a while, 4-4, and just missed getting into the playoffs.
yeah, I mean, you know, Coach Mosca does a great job. He's a friend of mine. I have great respect for what he does, and they always have very good athletes. You know, and it's just tough. I mean, it's my 9th year as head coach, so I've had eight full season. 4 times we made it to the state semifinals. So we come out of the state semifinal, and unfortunately we haven't gotten to a final yet. But Monmouth Regional treats our game like, you know, their Super Bowl.
Like it's
and
their finals.
ultimately we're trying to put the pieces together after losing a heartbreaker in the semifinal to get ready in 3 days to play. So, you know, it's tough.
Well, it all starts tomorrow night, and we really appreciate you coming down and making the trip and spending a few minutes with us. It's been a great season so far. I know you'd like to go several more weeks. We'll be playing the first weekend in December, maybe somewhere like Rutgers University. Be a nice thing, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Don,
it.
Don Klein, the head coach from Ocean, and, of course, Kenny Pickett is a terrific junior quarterback. We come back, we go from the Spartans to the Huskies. We'll do that after this. You're listening to the Thursday Night High School Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.
Water Street Bar and Grill in downtown Toms River is the ultimate sports bar. With 32 HD TVs, Water Street brings you all the action of every football game. Located right on the water, Water Street is the perfect place to enjoy the finest views of the shore. Whether you want to grab a few drinks with friends, catch your favorite game, eat a delicious meal, or enjoy live entertainment every Friday and Saturday nights, Water Street is the place for a good time. Located across from Huddy Park on Robbins Parkway in downtown Toms River. Visit them at bakerswaterstreet.com.
Your home for high school football. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
We're going to make the quick switch here as we change guests as they exchange some pleasantries. We go from, as we said, Ocean to Matawan, and we're joined by our friend John Kay here, the fourth-year head coach of the Huskies, and his terrific senior fullback and linebacker Isaiah Phillip. They took the longer trip from Matawan to be with us tonight. So for that, we thank you. And John, I'll start with you. Obviously, been a interesting season. You go 0-3 to start, and I'm sure there were some that were ready to write you off and say, well, wait till next year, and bang, bang, bang. It's 6 straight wins, a state playoff spot, and nobody really hotter than you coming in. And, of course, part of it had to do with the health of an important player for you.
Or 2 or 3. You know, we got out of the gate tough. I mean, our schedule was you know, really tough. We had a good St. John Vianney team opening day. I thought we played pretty well against them, considering, and then a really good Rumson team. And we were playing without, you know, George Pearson, without Micaiah Caesar, without Derek Wiley, you know, and we were a little short-handed. So we did our best to piece it together, and our coaches and our players did an outstanding job to, you know, keep our nose to the grindstone and believe in ourselves the rest of the year.
Well, let me ask you, this guy who's been a 3-year starter for you, here you are your senior year, you're 0-3. I mean, are you, like, ready to tank? I mean, is this over, or did you feel like once those guys came back, we can really turn this thing around?
It was difficult in the beginning, you know, being 0-3 and, you know, seeing your teammates who want to come out there and help you so much. They just can't really help you. They're not healthy enough. They're trying to do all their best to get back quickly, but we didn't give up on our team. You know, we have a great coaching staff, and we have a lot of talented players on our team. And even though we're 0-3, the SJV game, we were in it till the end. Jake Ballou, our backup quarterback, played a phenomenal game. And even the Rumson game, we were down 7-0 at halftime. Second half, we played great defense, shut them out. And then the Raritan game,
one of those nights, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those nights. We didn't have any luck. So we didn't give up on our team, and we were very confident that, you know, if we could get healthy, get a little momentum, and we can make a run. And now we've won 6 straight.
Isaiah, playing next to Aleem Shaw. Tell us about that.
It's an honor. It's special. obviously, he's a great kid, all-shore selection, 17 sacks as a sophomore. It's a big thing. And then last year, as a junior, had another great season. It's very fun, I'd like to say that I'm the mind and he's the muscle of our defense, But together we're good friends, and we like to have fun with each other. We like to joke around. But when the game starts, we like to get serious, make sure we get all the other guys lined up, and we like to just go out there and just make tackles. We're hungry out there.
Coach, tell us a little bit about Isaiah here.
Isaiah is he's the coach on the field. Defensively, he's making all our calls, our checks, our sets. Offensively, he's our fullback or our one back. He's involved in all our run game. He knows exactly. I don't even have to tell him. He knows where to be, where to go. I can put him in a place in a formation, and he can go and, like, sometimes I go, oh my God, what's Isaiah doing over there? And then he goes in motion and he gets to where he's supposed to be, because he just knows where he's supposed to be. So he's like a quarterback, in the backfield, another quarterback on the field for us. He's the brains of the operation.
Isaiah, not a whole lot of carries. You want the ball more often? Come on, tell the coach. I mean, I know you got some great backs back there, but
No, we got some great guys in Mekhi Siege and Derek Wiley, and I don't mind blocking for them, man.
There you go.
They go out there and they bust their tail trying to get yards, and our offensive line does a great job of pushing people around and making their blocks. So I try and tell Coach K, hey, give me a fullback dive or something like that, But no, I don't worry about that. It's all about the team, and they do a great job running the ball and getting carries for us, and Elsie does a great job back there. So just got to do my part and be 111 for the team.
Well, you got a touchdown reception this year, right? You caught a touchdown pass.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. My teammates like to joke around with me saying that, I don't really get the ball much, but when I did and I scored, it was a great honor.
And, of course, defensively, by the way, he had second on the team in tackles, 52 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, a sack, and as Coach said, having another coach on the field. So this guy has done it all. So, guys, the run to 6 straight, obviously peaking right now, playing really, really good football. And here you head into the Shore Conference sectional, one of 4 teams from the Shore. You're at Hopewell Valley tomorrow night. You're the 5 seed. They're the 4. John, what can you tell us about them?
Big physical, run-the-ball, downhill football team. I think they've thrown like 59 passes all year.
Wow.
They're just they got a 6'5", 250-pound quarterback who runs the ball. They got a 1,600-yard rusher at tailback. And they're going to line up every which way they can and try to bully you and just knock you over. Strong on the offensive line. Play sound defense, an even front, 4-2-5 defense. And it's going to be a challenge for us.
That's a no-nonsense team. You know what's coming pretty much, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure on those linebackers. Got to make a lot of tackles.
Yeah. It is a lot of pressure, but, this year we played a couple of teams, like Long Branch, Manasquan, Rumson, that just tried to attack us and just run the ball down our throats. But, we've had a good week of practice, and we've got all of our checks right on defense. We know where to line up, and we feel that as long as we get ourselves lined up and get in position, that we could just stop them.
Coach, I'm going to go back to last year and the run you had, and I was fortunate enough to go up to Kane University and see you guys in the final. If you had to pick a worse night to play, you couldn't have done it. It was horrendous. It was cold. It was rainy. It was windy. But you played a tremendous football game to win that football game and win yourself a state championship. Tell us about that whole run last year.
Well, it's eerily similar. We got out of the gate slow.
Slow, right.
And we made the change and put LC at quarterback as a freshman and then, came on and made a good run. Our team really galvanized around some adversity when I lost my dad, and our whole football family came together, and I'll tell you what, I can't express the love I got from everybody out there and how this team just came together and we made that run. And, sometimes from, terrible adversity, good things come. And that, this team galvanized and we came together and we learned what family was all about. And it was a tremendous run. But that was last year, so.
I understand. But it was exciting, and you get that trophy in the trophy case. That's a big season that you had, especially after the start, like you said.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you talked before to Coach Klein about being in a football tradition-rich community.
Yeah.
Well, there's no more football-rich community than Mattawan.
another similar situation. You know, the field right there, the houses. You could see the game from some of the houses there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nice place to play a football game.
25 appearances in the playoffs and 7 sectional championships. That's a big monkey on the back sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, so getting that one didn't hurt. That's for sure.
No. You definitely got to prove yourself a little bit as the coach, you know, and you get mentioned in the same breath as the head football coach at Manawan High School with the likes of, you know, of Barry Rizzo and Joe Martucci and you know, Butch Britton, and you get named in that class, and you really better step your game up and make sure you belong.
I want to ask Isaiah a question. George Pearson, LC.
Yeah, what does
the
stand
LC stand for? Do I not want to know?
Nah, it's good. LC stands for Little Cook. They call his dad Cook, so
okay.
He's the Little Cook.
He's Little Cook.
Sort of like a junior, but you know,
I got you.
Modified version.
He's more like an executive chef than a cook, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. He's something special. Being a senior, every one of these now is magnified for you because you always wonder, is it my last? I don't want this to be my last playoff game. Heck, if you were to lose tomorrow, it'd be your last game as a high school football player. So do you go on the field with a sense of urgency, like you want to play 3 more weeks?
Yeah, obviously it's a big deal. You know, tomorrow could be the last game, but we don't like to think of it that way. We like to stay calm and just treat it just like another game. You know, the last 6 games we've been rolling, scoring 30 points a game offensively, only giving up about 9 or 10. And we'd like to just stay calm and just keep it just like another game, just part of our business, just our job. And we're just going to go out there, just do what we got to do, and take care of business, and hopefully move on to next week.
You know, he did stress a big point there about the offense. It's really rolling right now, Coach.
Yeah, you know, we thought, you know, once we had all the horses back in the barn, that we could be an explosive offense. You know, we have speed on the perimeter, we have receivers, we have running backs, we have a veteran offensive line, and we thought that, you know, once we got healthy, that we could score points. And you know, obviously, once we did get healthy, we were very fortunate to get things rolling in a good way. So.
I saw the Manasquan game. I was on the sideline there. We spoke a little bit. Crazy game, that Manasquan game.
I'll tell you what. Listen, there's a few places around the shore where that color cloud hangs over that stadium, right? You go to Brick, there's that green cloud. You know, you go to Manasquan, there's that blue cloud. There's that blue magic that comes out. There's things that happen out there that don't happen anywhere else. But, you know, that's a tradition-rich program at Manasquan, and they're a prideful program. And those kids came to play that day, and it was a battle. Let me tell you what, it was a tough football game.
Yeah. A couple minutes left here. I know it's it's always one game at a time. I don't care if it's September or November. But obviously, you know, you're in a bracket with a lot of teams that you are somewhat familiar with. Does that make it that much more interesting, or are you a kind of coach that likes the idea that you're going to see someone you've never seen before?
I think we're excited about getting outside the shore.
Okay.
You know, I'm not saying that anybody's any better than anybody else. I mean, you know, for us to get a chance to, you know, look, if we're going to play Ocean or Red Bank or Rumson, we'd rather see them down the road. So let's get somebody from outside the shore, get a little different taste of what football is like in other areas, and let's compete and let's the chips fall where they may. We're pretty excited about, you know, where we're going.
Hey, it's great. You know, when you were 0-3, I think we talked about it, you know, one of the Thursdays here, and hey, what's wrong with what's wrong with Manawan? And what's wrong is they're not healthy, and you know, you guys really did not play with much of a lifeline after going 0-3. You pretty much know we've got to kind of win out, you know, and sort of done that. You've played each game has almost been a playoff game for you in this whole role.
Yeah, well, you know, last year we had to win 5 games. That was our mantra that our Coach Marsh talked about. We have 5 weeks to go 1-0. And every week it was just one game at a time. We had to go 1-0. And last year we were able to build championship pedigree. So this year we were like, oh, we're 0-3, but we knew that if we get healthy, get some guys back, that we'd make a run for it. And now that we won 6 straight, I feel if we keep it going, keep doing what we got to do, we can handle business and see what happens.
Coach, any kid that comes on the air with us and uses the word mantra
can
be a coach on the field for me.
No question. That's why Isaiah's the
very,
man.
Very impressive.
He's
this kid.
He's a very articulate young man,
yes,
and he's going places in life.
And well dressed.
Absolutely, better than me.
Does he know we are on video?
Yeah, so he got a chance. We were at school, so he got a chance to go home. I didn't. So
carries himself well. What about your future plans after graduation?
The school that I want to attend is University of Florida, and I want to study sports management.
Okay.
Or sports broadcast journalism. I could see myself as like a GM of a sports team, or like president of player operations or something like that. But Coach K did kind of offer me a job about a week ago, so if I want to come back and coach for Madawan. So that's always an option in my future.
Guys, thanks so much. I know it's a long haul down the Parkway for you, Isaiah. And John, thanks so much. Congratulations on the great role, and let's keep it going. One thing we'd love to see is the 4 Shore teams in the semifinals next week. Be a lot of fun.
Oh, we'd like to see that, too.
Yeah, we would.
Thanks again, guys. Can't thank you enough. Appreciate it. Good luck, Isaiah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That's Isaiah Phillip and John Kay from Madawan High School. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to the Thursday Night Football Show on the Shore Sports Network.
Water Street Bar and Grill in downtown Toms River is the ultimate sports bar. With 32 HD TVs, Water Street brings you all the action of every football game. Located right on the water, Water Street is the perfect place to enjoy the finest views of the shore. Whether you want to grab a few drinks with friends, catch your favorite game, eat a delicious meal, or enjoy live entertainment every Friday and Saturday nights, Water Street is the place for a good time. Located across from Huddy Park on Robbins Parkway in downtown Toms River. Visit them at bakerswaterstreet.com.
At Jersey Mike's, we know busy lives and dinner don't always mix. But by making a sub above, we help make time for dinner time. With cold subs on warm nights and hot subs grilled for cool evenings. It's a really well-made meal, de-stressed. It's something really good, shared simply. It's a delicious dinner time in the bag. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above.
For the latest high school football news, visit shoresportsnetwork.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310, and WOBMAM.com.
Hey, we're moving things along here, and I don't even know the answer to the question if Bob Batters is on the line. Bobby's out at Wall, and I hear background noise. So our own Bob Batters, who's done a terrific preview of the state playoffs on shoresportsnetwork.com. I mean, he's taken the whole thing. And here on a Thursday night, he's out at one of the crossover games, Wall and Somerville. Bob, what do you got for us? What's going on there?
Wall fell behind 7-0 first drive of the game, but it's been all crimson night since then. Up 28-7. And trying for some more as Eddie Scott's pass ball is incomplete. But Wall up 28-7, 1:12 to go, first half.
All right, can you give me a crowd estimate? Give me a number that you think might be the crowd tonight.
200.
Okay, all right.
And how about
not that many people here tonight.
How about the Wall quarterback? Who is it?
Eddie Scott. Cluley is in uniform, but he will not play tonight. But all things look good for him to be ready to go Thanksgiving against Manitowoc. Eddie
nice.
Scott's in there tonight and looking good. 6 of 7, 111 yards so far.
All right, Bob, as I mentioned, you've done a complete preview of your thoughts on the state playoffs involving all the 27 Shore Conference teams on shoresportsnetwork.com, also in our Shore Sports Network Journal. But I'll put you on the spot now. We're not going to go over all of them. You only got a few minutes. But tell me the teams that you think on the first weekend in December will hold up a championship trophy.
You got to like Middletown South. Certainly has the number 1 team in the state to finish it off and go 12-0 in North Jersey Section 2, Group 4. I like Rumson to make it 3 in a row. Win Central Jersey Group 3. That's a short conference bracket, really. I mean, very good chance it could be an all short conference Final Four. But I like the Bulldogs, especially their defense come this time of the year. I think Shore Regional is a big favorite in Central Jersey Group 1. And I also really like St. John Vianney's chances in non-public Group 3. And I think we may have even a couple more after that. Certainly Central Jersey Group 4, Brick Morrill and Brick. I picked to make it to the final. I think the Mustangs will take this one. But I think it's going to be wide open in a lot of these brackets just because you have a lot of teams that are pretty even with each other.
Bobby, Toms River North, I want to mention, down in South Jersey. It's not a loaded division this year, with Cherokee having lost, Williamstown having lost, Lenape vulnerable. I think the Mariners have a pretty good chance. I know you picked them, and I'm picking them also.
You can definitely call that a homer pick on my end if you wanted to, but I think I think any of those top 4 seeds, and I think Kingsway is a dangerous team, so Tom's going to have to be prepared tomorrow night. But I think any of the top 4 seeds could win that bracket. You're right, Ed. There's no overwhelming team in there when you're talking about, Williamstown and teams and Cherokee and teams of that nature that, year in and year out are championship contenders. It's going to be a tall order. I think it's going to come down to really the team that can put together the best 3-game run to win that. Not always the best team wins that bracket. Sometimes it's just a war of attrition. So if Tom's River North, they've won
2 minutes
right now going into that, 8 in a row going into that game. You got to like their chances just as well as any other team there. If they can click on all cylinders, I think they can definitely be holding the trophy.
We only got a minute or so before our top of the hour, plus you got to get back to work anyway, so I'll just ask you this one. Ed mentioned the fact that what's really exciting is the potential matchups next weekend. Is it safe to say that maybe the one that the most people are looking forward to is the possibility of a St. John Vianney Red Bank Catholic State semifinal?
I certainly think so. Red Bank Catholic, the Shore Conference has never been a conference that's been dominated by Catholic schools. And Red Bank Catholic over the last 5 years has been they've been the best team in the Shore, and they won it last year, the title. And St. John Vianney obviously bursting onto the scene last year, winning 10 games, getting to a semifinal. And this year, St. John Vianney is the top 5 team in the state. Red Bank Catholic with 2 losses. So yeah, that's a big one. Certainly.
1 minute.
Come next week.
Bobby, one upset tomorrow. One upset this weekend.
Ooh.
How about Freehold Township?
You know what? I was going to say either Freehold Township or, I don't know if you call Raritan an upset if they happen to be Point Borough considering those 2 teams played, but the pick would be Freehold Township. They're going against a team that Brooks have already played. They lost 38-28, played well, and they're going in. This is their second playoff appearance in program history. So they're going in, you don't want to say playing with nothing to lose, but they're going out there, just letting it all out on the field, where New Brunswick, they probably feel like they're going to get to a sectional final. So that could be a fun one for the Patriots tomorrow night.
At Wall High School, it's Bob Batters. He's everywhere. He'll be all over this weekend, and you can always check him out at shoresportsnetwork.com. Bob, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, there's our guy. We got another half hour to go, Ed. When we come back, we'll talk with Jackson Liberty coach Jim Sharples, of course, Kevin Callahan's regular spot, and we'll just glance ahead at this weekend's state playoff matchups. You're listening to the Thursday night high school football show on the Shore Sports Network.